everyone, my name is Alex. Welcome to my channel, The Endless Shelf. Being that it is Thanksgiving week, I thought I would give thanks to all of the wonderful books that I've placed on my favorites shelf. For me to place a book on my favorites list, it really has to impact me in some way. All of these books have either impacted me emotionally or really resonated with me and made me not stop thinking about it afterwards. There are so many great books out there and I can never find the time to reread, but these are books that if I had the time, I know I would definitely pick them up again, and that is also another reason why I tend to place books on my favorites list. So in no particular order, they are Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. This book is my favorite in the series. When I read it, I thought it really stood out from the previous three books. For me, the fourth book is where things really started to take a turn for the dark, and you learn a lot more backstory on things. A ton of new characters are introduced, and the Triwizard Tournament was so enjoyable to read about. I loved all of the challenges. So for me, it's the fourth book for the win. Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I'm so excited that this is finally getting turned into a movie. I can't wait to see the adaptation. When I read this book, I could not stop thinking about it afterwards. It really impacted me, and I thought it sent a great message. I read most of the other books that Lauren Oliver has put out, but this continues to remain my favorite of hers. The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. I believe I read this book in the 8th grade. My aunt had recommended it to me. I love books that take place during the civil rights movement. I thought this was a beautiful book, unlike what I was used to reading. I loved all of the characters and couldn't get enough of the story. This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen. My memories of this book are kind of hazy. I can't remember the details of the book, as it is with most books. I have the worst memory. I just remember feeling really emotional after reading this book, and I really love the journey that the book takes you on. The Last Song by Nicholas Sparks. I've talked about this book in another of my videos. This book made me cry so much. It was a romantic story like all of Nicholas Sparks' books, but what really resonated with me was the family dynamics within the book. I love when books have a strong family element, and this book really impacted me. The Help by Kathryn Stockett. When I first picked up this book, I had a really hard time kind of getting into it because it is written in dialect, so it was kind of difficult to get used to. But after a while, it's as if that dialect becomes your own. The story was amazing. I thought the movie was a great adaptation of the book, and I really hope that Kathryn Stockett writes something else soon because I would love to see what she does next. The Pact and Vanishing Acts by Jodi Picoult. When I was a sophomore in college was around the time when My Sister's Keeper was released as a movie. I actually saw the movie before I read the book and was devastated by the ending. That book started me on my kick of reading a bunch of Jodi Picoult books. I really loved these two books. These resonated the most with me. Though her stories can be somewhat on the dark side, I think that they are strong reads with stories that really resonate. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Again, I've mentioned this in another one of my videos. I remember being like a third of the way through, just saying to myself, I've never read a story written like this before. Definitely a story that I will never forget and hope to have the time to read again one day. Perfect Chemistry by Simone L. Glees. This story is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I will always read Romeo and Juliet retellings, and I really related to the relationship of the two main characters. I thought the evolution of their relationship was really enjoyable to read, and it is a story that I won't soon forget. Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. Getting into what this book really means to me is a personal story that I'm not quite ready to share yet, but it will remain on my favorites list because I love Wendy Higgins' writing and I just loved the story. 50 Shades Darker by E.L. James. This is my favorite book in the 50 Shades trilogy. This is the book where you really dive into the story of Christian's past. I'm excited to see how the film version of this book will turn out. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I feel like this is almost a cliche book to have on your favorite shelf, but Nonetheless, it's there on mine. And I don't really need to say any more other than the amount of feels that book gave me was immense. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. The way that Erin Morgenstern wrote this book was incredibly beautiful. I could not get this book out of my head after I had read it. I did not want it to end at all. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. To me, this book is quite an epic fantasy. It's like its own mythology and an incredibly original story. Along with The Night Circus, it's a story that I wish I could live inside of. Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. Immediately when I finished this book, the first thing I thought of was, this is going on my favorite shelf. I really loved the journey that Lola took in this story. I fell in love with Cricket, and the story was just incredibly enjoyable to read. I am thankful for all of the books that I have mentioned in this video today. Please share with me your favorites and why you love them, because I'd love to know and I'd love to check them out as well. I hope all who celebrate have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!